Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today. Chapter 111. The First Star Cave. The teacher has finally opened up the 7-star cave world. When was the last time the teacher opened up the 7-star cave world? I remember it was 300 years ago. The 12 silhouettes were chatting with each other, all appearing quite leisurely. Normally, these fellow disciples each had their own business to attend to, and it was rare for them to gather together like this. This time's test has produced quite a few promising candidates, or else the teacher wouldn't have opened the 7-star cave world. They say there's a member of the Tri-Human clan. If the eldest senior and the second and third seniors aren't interested, then I'll reserve that Tri-Human in advance. The Tri clan holds a special status within the Human Alliance. To take a disciple from the Tri clan is equivalent to forming a connection with other higher-rank members of their race. I want to compete for it, too. The 12 silhouettes all began to speak. There were few Tri clan members, but their talents were extremely powerful. At present, the number of the Tri clan within human civilization didn't exceed 100,000. And they were scattered across various territories. Therefore, even without direct bloodline connections, there was a peculiar sense of closeness between members of the Tri clan. It was like meeting fellow countrymen in a foreign land. With the aptitude of the Tri clan, it was easy for them to produce high-rank evolvers. Taking in a disciple from the Tri clan was akin to establishing relations with these high-rank evolvers. It would make anything in the future negotiable. Of course, even without this relationship, the 12 silhouettes would still be very keen to take them in as disciples. After all, their qualification was evident. A member of the Tri clan, with careful cultivation, could easily step into the 6th rank. I'm not interested in the Tri clan, but that Yinling is mine. At this moment, the foremost figure among them slowly spoke up. Yinling was the woman with silver hair. The Chiquan Starlord had commented that her space talent was not bad, one of the 3 red patterns, the number 1 existence among the hundreds of thousands of evolvers this time. Since the eldest senior has spoken, then she's yours. Yinling has considerable space talent. Only our eldest senior is capable of cultivating her. Indeed. Having said that, the remaining 11 silhouettes began to discuss other evolvers. Among the hundreds of thousands of evolvers, only the 3 with red patterns and a few with gold patterns were worth their active competition. As for the rest of the evolvers, they would wait until they made it to the 7th star cave. So this is the 1st star cave? Lin Yuan began to observe his surroundings. According to the information provided by Fang Qing, the 1st star cave's test likely pertained to the physical body. Of course, it wasn't absolute, but if not the physical body, then it would be the soul or perhaps mental consciousness, insight, and so on. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Just as Lin Yuan was observing, one evolver after another was transported over from the White Jade Plaza. Many evolvers looked around nervously. The nearby scenery wasn't complicated, resembling a wilderness, with a black racetrack tens of miles wide in the middle. Once all the evolvers had arrived, that towering figure appeared once again. The trial of the 1st star cave is very simple. Just walk to the end of this black racetrack. The towering figure raised his hand, pointing to the black racetrack. Within 1 month, as long as you reach the end, you can enter the 2nd star cave. After speaking, the towering figure vanished. Instantly, the venue erupted into a huge commotion. The problem wasn't that the test was too difficult. It was too simple. The black racetrack was tens of miles wide and at most 100 miles long. Therefore, within a month to walk 100 miles. Even an ordinary citizen could cover 100 miles in just a day or two at most. Let alone the lowest among those present were third-rank evolvers. Reach the end point? Lin Yuan didn't rush into action but stood still and observed. He believed the test wouldn't be so simple, as the elimination rate in the first trial of past 7-star cave challenges was terrifyingly high. Let others go ahead and try first. Lin Yuan was in no hurry. One could stay in each star cave for a month. Even if he lingered here for a month, there would be no impact as long as he entered the second star cave at the last moment. Someone is bound to be too impatient. Lin Yuan's gaze swept over the surroundings. After just a short while, a few of the silver pattern evolvers seemed to get restless. Among the hundreds of thousands of evolvers, the silver pattern evolvers were the most numerous, with the red pattern and gold pattern evolvers combined numbering a little over 100. It was precisely for this reason that the 7-star cave challenge was particularly stimulating for the silver pattern evolvers. Imagine that every silver pattern evolver was among the top 10 existences on their respective planets, esteemed and sought after by many forces. But upon arriving in the 7-star cave world, they found that there were more than 1 million others just like them. This gap between their former and current perception made a minority of the silver pattern evolvers undergo a change in mentality. Someone here wants to see just what's so extraordinary about this 7-star cave challenge. A burly man with a wild appearance strode forward. As this burly man, who exuded a third-rank vibe, stepped out, over 1 million evolvers turned their gaze on him. Damn, this pressure is pretty intense. The burly man began to sweat coldly on his forehead. Boom! Under the watchful eyes of everyone, the burly man stepped onto the black racetrack. Ha! There was a slight change in the burly man's expression. He then took another step, 2 steps, 5 steps. After covering about 100 meters, the burly man finally stopped. It's gravity. As soon as you enter into the area of the black racetrack, you're placed in a gravitational field. The further you go, the stronger the gravity becomes. At this distance, the gravity I'm facing is approximately 5 to 7 times that of a normal planet. The burly man announced openly. He wasn't lying because the other evolvers would quickly realize the same truth with just a little testing. Chapter 112. A gravity area? This test is for the physical body? Heh! What a coincidence. My specialty is the physical body. Countless evolvers murmured softly, their eyes on the 100-mile black racetrack, each with a different expression. Merely 100 meters in, and the gravity has reached 5 to 7 times? Near the finish line, won't the gravity reach thousands of times? A gold pattern evolver said thoughtfully. The closer to the finish line of the 100-mile black racetrack, the stronger the gravity. The gravity in the finishing area is at least 3,000 times. Just this fact alone can eliminate 70 to 80% of the evolvers. Another gold pattern evolver glanced at the eager silver pattern evolvers around him and thought silently. For a third-rank evolver, tens or hundreds of times the gravity poses no challenge. But once the number exceeds 1,000, it changes things. The range of gravity's effect extends to the organs and even to the cellular level. If one's physical body is only superficially strong or if their skin is just tough, facing such gravity is practically useless. So it's a test of gravity. Lin Yuan looked contemplative. This indeed is an excellent way to test the physical body. Compared to merely testing for strength or endurance, the challenge of gravity works from the outside in, eliminating many evolvers who rely solely on extreme physical strength. However, the furthest anyone has gone so far is less than 1 kilometer. I'm not in a hurry yet. Let's see how the gravity intensifies further along. While Lin Yuan was pondering, over 1,000 evolvers had already voluntarily entered the black racetrack. Dozens of them had reached positions between 7 and 800 meters. And through communication it was learned that in the 7 to 800 meter area, the gravity had already reached dozens of times. Half an hour later, 90% of the evolvers had stepped onto the black racetrack. Seeing this, Lin Yuan, finding nothing unexpected and confirming that the black racetrack was only influenced by gravity, also stepped onto it. 10 meters, 100 meters, 1,000 meters, 10,000 meters. Unbeknownst to him, Lin Yuan had walked 10,000 meters. This was approximately 1/5 the length of the 100-mile racetrack. Or in other words, 20-mile area. I'm finally starting to feel it, Lin Yuan thought to himself. The cultivation system of the divine arms world, though peculiar, did a fine job in tempering the physical body, from skin refinement to blood refining, organ refinement to bone refinement. One could say it had forged every part of the physical body. Thus, the gravity zone in the black racetrack did not exert much pressure on Lin Yuan. It was only after the first 10,000 meters that Lin Yuan grew slightly more solemn. And the gravity in that first 10,000-meter area had already exceeded 1,000 times. 1,000 times gravity, enough to instantly crush an ordinary citizen into dust. Ordinary first and second layer evolvers would not last a few seconds under such gravity. To Lin Yuan, however, this was nothing. Up to this moment, he had relied entirely on his corporal body, without resorting to any techniques, like deploying the Taiji domain, or secret techniques to temporarily enhance the strength of his physical body, etc. At the 20,000-meter mark of the black racetrack, I was one of the first evolvers to step onto the racetrack, having covered nearly half the length of the black path in several hours. This pace should rank me among the top few dozen, right? Chui Sita took a deep breath, stopped, and decided to rest for a bit. As a fourth-rank evolver under 100 years old, Chui Sita's strength was unquestionably the strongest on his planet. In both this and all past competitive bouts, there had been very few fourth-rank evolvers. On a middle-grade life planet like Kanglan Star, no fourth rank had appeared in tens of thousands of years. Initially, Chui Sita was quite confident. He came from a prominent family, familiar with the tests of the Chikuan Star Lord and the 7-star cave tests. But in the end, when he was drawn into the 7-star cave world, Chui Sita was unexpectedly given a silver pattern, the same silver pattern as those third-rank evolvers. This was unacceptable to Chui Sita. He did not dare to hope for the highest crimson pattern, but at least a gold pattern should have been within reach. From what Chui Sita knew this time in the 7-star cave tests, all evolvers were within the 3rd and 4th rank. That is to say, those gold and crimson patterns like him, Chui Sita, were 4th-rank evolvers. Being of the same rank, why should they be gold or crimson patterns while he, Chui Sita, had only a silver pattern? The starting point does not account for everything. I, Chui Sita, will surely pass the 7 caves and join the Red Kuan lineage. Chui Sita steadied himself and struggled to move his right foot, intending to continue forward. Just then,
Chui Sita heard the faint footsteps.
Is someone coming after us? Chui Sita turned around to look. He saw a young man approaching with light and steady steps, as if he were walking toward this side with no hurry at all. If it weren't for Chui Sita's certainty about the surrounding gravity having exceeded 2,000 times, he almost thought the young man was strolling in his own garden. How can he do it so effortlessly? Chui Sita couldn't believe it. To be fair, Chui Sita himself was already finding it tough. Although 2,000 times gravity wasn't his limit, he was far from being able to do it with ease. It's a gold pattern. Chui Sita observed a touch of gold on the side of the young man. Is this the golden pattern challenger designated by the Star Lord? Chui Sita quickly thought to himself. Not to mention other aspects, just this young man's performance meant he could completely crush Chui Sita in terms of physical prowess. It's terrifying. His speed has not changed from beginning to end. Chui Sita took a deep breath. Just as Chui Sita was observing Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan also turned his head and glanced at Chui Sita. I've seen Lord Gold Pattern. Chui Sita immediately turned around, disregarding the terrifying pressure around him, and bowed respectfully to Lin Yuan. There was no choice. The challenge of the first 7-star cave was to reach the black racetrack. That is to say, evolvers just needed to walk over the black racetrack. There was no rule saying they couldn't attack each other. Now, Chui Sita used most of his strength to resist gravity. With Lin Yuan maintaining an easy posture, his strength probably wasn't affected much. Under such circumstances, if Chui Sita dared to show disrespect, causing Lin Yuan to feel displeased, he could easily knock him out of the competition. This is the power of a golden pattern challenger. Chui Sita sighed, and much of his dissatisfaction dissipated. Quite polite. Lin Yuan just glanced at Chui Sita and continued moving towards the front. Along the way, Lin Yuan kept overtaking evolvers, who mostly showed surprise and fear upon seeing him, fearing that Lin Yuan might suddenly attack them. Time passed. Soon, Lin Yuan entered the 40,000 meters zone. The entire black racetrack, 5/4 of it, had already been walked. The gravity in this area had reached 4,000 times. Still bearable. Lin Yuan's speed remained unchanged, and up to now, he had not used the Taiji field, relying solely on his body to resist gravity. Because Fang Qing once said everything in the 7-Star Cave Challenge would be noticed by the 12 disciples of the Qikuan Star Lord. Since the first 7-Star Cave Challenge was a test of physical body, Lin Yuan would use his body to resist. This way, not only could it potentially enhance his evaluations, but at least it wouldn't decrease them. In the 40,000 meters zone, hardly anyone could be seen. There's someone ahead. Lin Yuan walked a bit further and vaguely saw through the mist ahead. A figure walking, stopping with each step, seemingly adapting. Lin Yuan walked up and glanced at the other person. This was a woman with green hair, radiating some kind of ethereal aura. Moreover, she was also a golden pattern challenger. Hello! Seeing Lin Yuan looking at her, the green-haired woman visibly tensed. The gravity exceeding 4,000 times hadn't forced her to reveal all her cards. But Lin Yuan's condition was clearly better than hers, and it would be troublesome if he suddenly attacked. In other places, you could still run if you couldn't beat them. But on the black racetrack, under the pressure of thousands of times of gravity, one's speed was reduced to the limit. Hello! Lin Yuan nodded. He continued maintaining his pace towards the finish line. Seeing this, the green-haired woman obviously sighed in relief. Several hours later, Lin Yuan smoothly finished the 100-mile racetrack and arrived at the second 7-Star Cave. Lin Yuan looked around. Chapter 113 Breakthrough. The second Star Cave had a style entirely different from that of the first Star Cave. This seemed to be the interior of a cosmic battleship, with walls formed from silver-white alloy in every direction. Not far away there was a huge transparent passage. What does this Star Cave test? Lin Yuan looked to the side, where a giant metal screen stood, displaying the test content. Objective: pass through the transparent passage. Hint 1. Every 10 seconds, the transparent passage will be covered by lasers. Hint 2. The total length of the transparent passage is 40,000 meters. Is the test for speed or defense? Lin Yuan stared at the metal screen, deep in thought. According to the rules of the test, there were 2 ways to pass. One was to traverse the transparent passage before the lasers activated. The lasers activated every 10 seconds, and the transparent passage was 40,000 meters long. That means, as long as your speed exceeded 4,000 meters per second, you could smoothly pass through. For 1,000 meters per second, which is roughly several times the speed of sound. This tested one's speed. Alternatively, if you were not fast, but your body's defense could withstand the laser coverage every 10 seconds, passing through the Star Cave would also be simple. This tested one's defense. Let's see how others manage it. Lin Yuan was unsure if there would be other obstacles in the middle of the passage, so he decided to wait a bit. Thinking this, Lin Yuan glanced at other evolvers nearby. Although Lin Yuan had waited for half an hour before entering the first Star Cave, his speed in completing the 100-mile black racetrack was not slow. He almost had no breaks throughout, so not many evolvers were ahead of Lin Yuan entering the second Star Cave. Upon a glance, there were only about 50 or 60 of them. These 50 or 60 evolvers were all golden pattern evolvers. Among them, 3 were red pattern. Red pattern. Lin Yuan withdrew his gaze. In the world of the 7-Star Cave, evolvers were divided into 3 levels. Red pattern, golden pattern, silver pattern. This classification was based on some standards set by the Chiquan Star Lord. In the first star cave, with an evolver count exceeding 1,000,000, Lin Yuan only noticed a few golden patterns. As for red patterns, he saw none at all. Now in the second star cave, the number of evolvers had sharply reduced, and even fewer were ahead of Lin Yuan. With the vastness of the universe and the incalculable number of the human race, the emergence of geniuses and freaks is definitely not few. Lin Yuan mused internally. In this competition, although he didn't reveal all his cards, Lin Yuan had displayed most of his strength. Even so, in the eyes of the Chiquan Star Lord, he was only a golden pattern. It could be inferred that those above the golden pattern, the red patterns, definitely had greater potential and aptitude than Lin Yuan. However, Lin Yuan did not belittle himself, whether it was the door to the myriad realms or against heaven's understanding. Both belonged to late-stage talent. They would become more formidable as time passed. Although Lin Yuan was not equal to those 3 red patterns now, given a few more opportunities to traverse, it was uncertain who would be stronger. The 3 red pattern evolvers were a silver-haired woman, a man with a vertical bloodline on his forehead, and a burly man nearly 3 meters tall, carrying a giant axe on his back. These 3 red patterns, each standing in a corner, had no other evolvers approaching them. Mysterious space within the 7-star cave world. 12 figures were leisurely watching the star cave area below. Since no one had arrived at the 3rd star cave yet, everyone's attention was focused on the 2nd star cave. Another golden pattern challenger has arrived. This golden pattern challenger, called Lin Yuan, right? Has he grasped the laws of yin and yang? The gazes of the figures fell on Lin Yuan. As disciples of the great Star Lord, these 12 were not too concerned about ordinary silver pattern challengers. Because the likelihood of silver pattern challengers passing through the 7-star caves was slim, and clearly, being categorized as silver pattern, their potential and aptitude seemed weaker. Of course, in the vast universe, there were those who were mediocre initially but soared later. But the probability was too small. Most were slow at every step. If you're already behind others, how can you dream of surpassing them later? But for golden pattern challengers, they deserved a closer look, as every challenger at this level was considered exceptional. Out of the 120,000 life planets in the Dawn star system, there were just over 100 golden pattern challengers, almost 1 out of every 1,000 life planets. Ka Wu, you have comprehended the role of light somewhat similar to this Lin Yuan. Why not recruit him in advance? A deeply voiced figure inquired. I'll watch a bit longer. Ka Wu, being the 10th disciple of the Star Lord and having just stepped into the 6th rank, naturally did not dare to partake when the other figures chose their disciples. However, selecting a disciple was quite significant. It wasn't just about recruiting a disciple and then ignoring them. You also needed to personally guide them and even plan their future training routes based on their evolution path. So, Ka Wu was quite cautious, preferring to abstain rather than just choosing anyone. Let's wait until the 4th star cave and the 7th star cave. After observing for a while, Ka Wu spoke. In the 7-star cave challenges, the 4th star cave and the 7th star cave were the most special. They were difficult yet easy at the same time, because these 2 caves tested one's intuitive understanding. Ka Wu decided to watch for Lin Yuan's intuitive power before making a decision. 2nd star cave. Lin Yuan's thought was shared by other golden pattern challengers. Even those 3 red pattern evolvers chose not to immediately challenge the transparent passage. Chapter 114. Instead, he patiently waited for other evolvers to go first. Time passed. More and more evolvers passed through the 1st star cave and arrived at the 2nd star cave. Among them were Cui Sita, who Lin Yuan had encountered on the racetrack, as well as the silver-haired woman with the golden pattern. If you're not going, then I'll go first. A thin man stepped forward and walked into the transparent passageway. Since he dared to be the first to break through, the thin man must have had confidence in himself. All one could see was a faint blood-red glow in his eyes, as his whole person shot like a meteor into the transparent passageway. Boom, boom, boom. The terrifying sound of air tearing apart echoed in all directions. At least 14 times the speed of sound, Lin Yuan observed carefully. He was also watching for any other changes inside the transparent passageway. With Lin Yuan's speed, and with a burst of effort, he would be faster than the Thin Man. It was just that he was not sure if there would be any variables inside the transparent passageway, which is why he did not move. Most of the evolvers on the field had the same idea. As Lin Yuan watched closely, your against heaven's understanding allows you to watch the full power burst of a living being and comprehend the blood-burning art. A wealth of details about the blood-burning art flooded into Lin Yuan's mind. This secret technique was a way to significantly increase one's own speed by burning one's own blood essence through some special method. That Thin Man who first stepped into the transparent passageway must have employed this secret technique to boost his speed and improve his chances of getting through. Not bad, Lin Yuan nodded. Although in the Dragon Tiger world, Lin Yuan had roamed the lands and also comprehended a demonic Tao method similar to the blood-burning art. The efficiency in using blood essence and the dangers of using it afterward were far inferior to the blood-burning art he had just comprehended. Whoosh! Under the watchful eyes of many evolvers, the Thin Man passed through the transparent passageway and disappeared into the second star cave at the 9th second. There are no other variables, the evolvers on the field suddenly realized. After that, a large number of evolvers began to break through the transparent passageway. A muscular evolver, unable to move fast enough, tried to resist the lasers head-on. After all, even without comprehending the space rules, just with a strong body alone, a 4th-rank evolver could ward off most laser weapons. But it was just for an instant. This muscular evolver was reduced to nothingness under the cover of the lasers. This scene made all the remaining evolvers realize. The trial of the second star cave was a test of speed. If the speed did not meet the standard, no matter how strong the defense was, it would not be able to withstand the covering fire of lasers. Too many. One by one, the evolvers used their methods, striving with all their might to race through the transparent passageway, which made things difficult for Lin Yuan. Under his against heaven's understanding, numerous comprehensions surged into his mind, and many rare secret techniques and evolution skills were quickly absorbed by Lin Yuan. The evolvers in the 7-star cave world might not have the same talent and understanding as Lin Yuan, but the evolution paths they practiced were certainly the most essential ones on their respective planets. Sizzle. It was at this moment, the silver-haired woman appeared before the transparent passageway. This scene slightly startled all the evolvers present. Many who were just about to enter the transparent passageway stopped in their tracks, not daring to enter with the silver-haired woman. Because this silver-haired woman was one of the 3 red pattern evolvers. Red pattern, recognized by the Chiquan Star Lord as a qualifier. Even if most evolvers did not know how formidable the red pattern was, they would not dare to offend or interfere. With the qualifications of a red pattern, even if they did not pass the trial of the 7-star cave, they would join the red Kuan lineage afterward. It was as if they were guaranteed a spot. It's her? Lin Yuan looked towards the silver-haired woman, his face showing a look of expectation. He wanted to know which method this red pattern examiner used to get through the transparent passageway. Unlike other evolvers who held a reverent fear in their hearts, Lin Yuan was going to truly benefit from this silver-haired woman's abilities. All that was seen was the silver-haired woman taking just one step. Her figure disappeared from where she stood, reappearing 100 meters away. The next instant, the silver-haired woman disappeared again. Another 100 meters. Merely 5 seconds. The silver-haired woman had traversed the transparent passage that was 40,000 meters long. All the evolvers were stunned, then burst into an uproar. It was indeed an inconceivable scene, crossing 40,000 meters in 4 seconds, which had reached dozens of times the speed of sound. Even more astonishingly, from beginning to end, the silver-haired woman had not emitted any sonic booms, which simply defied the natural laws of physics. It's space. Lin Yuan closed his eyes. Your against heaven's understanding allows you to observe space traversal, deepening your insight into the space. Compared to witnessing the erratic power of space in the cracks while in the divine arms world, Lin Yuan found that the orderly space traversal performed by the silver-haired woman was much easier to comprehend. Space. Lin Yuan directly disconnected from the virtual world and returned to the real world. During the 7-star cave examination period, withdrawing midway was allowed. Of course, the time elapsed in the real world was in sync with the 7-star cave world. If 1 month was spent in the real world, a month would also pass by in the 7-star cave world. If you do not pass through to the next cave within the allowed stay, you would naturally be eliminated. Space. Lin Yuan's eyes faintly glowed silver. Following that, a massive Taiji phantom, tinged with silver, emerged. The Tao of Taiji, with yin and yang as its foundation, goes on to encompass all things under heaven and earth. In the divine arms world, Lin Yuan comprehended many divine weapons and grasped plenty of laws. Yet this did not conflict with the yin-yang Taiji Tao. That was because of the Taiji Tao's characteristic to accommodate everything. Now, having observed the space traversal displayed by the silver-haired woman, Lin Yuan's comprehension of space reached a certain level, which triggered the transformation of the Taiji Tao, naturally as it should be. 4th rank, 10th segment. A moment later, Lin Yuan stood up, his aura experiencing a slight leap. From the 4th rank 9th segment to the 10th segment, although it wasn't a breakthrough of a great realm, it was still a significant bottleneck. Lin Yuan had originally estimated that it would take him at least a few years to cross this barrier, but it arrived much earlier than expected. It must be known that Lin Yuan's breakthrough was different from other evolvers. Other evolvers follow a predefined evolution path, moving on to the next stage. Lin Yuan, however, had no next stage. Every step he took was created from nothingness, carving out a path by sheer force. It seems that the space rules are quite useful for further perfecting the Taiji Tao. Lin Yuan appeared contemplative. Upon reaching the 3rd or 4th rank, one could faintly sense the immense rules between heaven and earth. But sensing them is one thing, comprehending them is another matter. With Lin Yuan's against heaven's understanding, even after forcibly sensing for so long, his progress had been extremely slow. If it were not for observing the silver-haired woman just now, he might still be stuck at the 4th rank 9th segment for a while. The best way to comprehend certain rules is to study the evolution paths of those rules. Lin Yuan thought to himself, evolution paths are akin to parsing complex and arcane rules in a way you can understand. Only evolution paths related to space are extremely rare to come by and prohibitively expensive for Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan aimed to pass the 7-star cave test and join the Red Kuan lineage precisely because he desired access to various evolution paths. The Red Kuan lineage, being the strongest force in the Chikuan star domain, certainly possessed a cultivation system for talents independent of the external world. Joining it, Lin Yuan's growth rate would undoubtedly experience a qualitative change. Granted, with Lin Yuan's against heaven's understanding, even without joining a force, he could reach an incredibly high level. But how much time would that take? Especially as his strength increased, Lin Yuan would need even more resources. Without the support of a major force, was Lin Yuan expected to earn them himself? Whoosh! A moment later, Lin Yuan reconnected to the virtual world. His figure appeared once more in the 2nd star cave. Having broken through from the 4th rank 9th segment to the 10th. Not much time had passed. Upon Lin Yuan's return, the other evolvers were still discussing the silver-haired woman. Seeing this scene, Lin Yuan glanced at the 2 other red pattern evolvers. That is, the man with a bloodline standing on his forehead, and the nearly 3-meter-tall strongman. The silver-haired woman had helped him enhance his comprehension of space. Perhaps these 2 red pattern evolvers could offer him some assistance as well? Chapter 115, The 5th Star Cave. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Many evolvers entered the transparent passage in succession. Lin Yuan, however, didn't enter but planned to watch a bit longer. After all, opportunities were rare, and it was unusual to witness so many evolvers unleashing their full power at once. Just then, the nearly 3 meters tall, burly man walked up to the transparent passage. His limbs were incredibly thick, and he carried a huge axe on his back, making him resemble a humanoid beast. Boom, boom, boom. With a stomp, the burly man unleashed a terrifying burst of power and charged towards the transparent passage. Terrifying. Such immense strength. Is he really of the human race? Is he not one of those space beasts? The other evolvers were startled and backed away. Even the residual waves of power from the burly man could potentially injure an average third-rank evolver. Power. Lin Yuan's gaze intensified. He felt an endless amount of power emanating from the nearly 3-meter-tall burly man. Your extraordinary insight has deepened your understanding of the rule of power. Rule of power? Lin Yuan pondered. Compared to the ubiquitous space rules, the rule of power seemed quite ordinary, but the burly man's deep understanding of it might be why he was listed as one of the 3 red pattern evolvers. I really want to get in close contact with these evolvers. Lin Yuan longed, for to others, red pattern evolvers were untouchable, to be looked up to. But in Lin Yuan's view, every red pattern evolver was a treasure trove waiting to be discovered. There will be more opportunities in the future. As long as I can successfully enter the Red Kuan lineage, why worry about the chance to meet them? Lin Yuan gathered his thoughts. Soon, the man with a red line on his forehead also passed through the transparent passage. Wind. Lin Yuan looked thoughtful. He sensed the fluctuations of wind from the man with the red line on his forehead. His speed through the passage was second only to the silver-haired woman, much faster than the nearly 3-meter-tall burly man. Several hours later, Lin Yuan had watched enough, although other evolvers continued to arrive from the first star cave. But these evolvers didn't offer much help to Lin Yuan. It was better than nothing. Therefore, Lin Yuan didn't want to waste time. Just as Lin Yuan was about to get up, another evolver appeared. This evolver was a young man, and he gave Lin Yuan an inexplicable sense of familiarity. Fang Qing. Lin Yuan immediately recognized the other party. The reason was that Lin Yuan often sparred with him. To better understand the ancient god evolution path, Lin Yuan had more than once deeply sensed the bodily changes in Fang Qing. So even if Fang Qing changed his appearance or transformed his body shape, Lin Yuan recognized him at a glance. Finally got through. Fang Qing arrived at the second star cave and let out a slight sigh of relief. The gravity challenge of the first star cave was quite difficult for him, and he only barely finished the last part of the track by resorting to an ancient god's secret technique. This star cave tests speed? Fang Qing also saw other evolvers pass through the transparent passage and understood the nature of the test. Speed. 10 seconds to reach the end of a 40,000-meter passage? Fang Qing's expression changed slightly. This was more than 10 times the speed of sound, which might not be difficult for a 4th-rank evolver, but Fang Qing was currently only a 3rd-rank evolver. No way. I have to ask teacher. Fang Qing disconnected from the virtual world directly. In the 7-star cave world, only the challengers could enter. Others were barred from entry. The white-bearded elder, being an artificial intelligence, belonged to an independent entity and naturally couldn't enter. If Fang Qing wanted to contact the white-bearded elder, he would have to exit the 7-star cave world first. Seeing Fang Qing disappear, Lin Yuan immediately knew that he likely went to call for help. There shouldn't be a big problem. Lin Yuan thought for a while. He felt that Fang Qing should be able to pass through the 2nd star cave. Compared to the 1st star cave, the test of the 2nd star cave might even be said to be simpler. After all, to pass through the 1st star cave, one must persist through 100 miles of track. There might be tricks to tackle it, like using other methods or secret techniques to reduce the pressure of gravity. But one still had to complete the 100-mile track. However, the challenge of the 2nd star cave was merely to reach the end 40,000 meters away within 10 seconds. This provided a lot of flexibility, and it gave room for many forbidden techniques to be deployed. After all, with just 10 seconds needed, even the most hazardous of forbidden techniques could be sustained without a problem. Currently, everyone was in the virtual world, and their bodies were simulations, so even if they paid a great price, they could recover very quickly. Fang Qing just needed to choose a secret technique that exploited his potential. Even as a 3rd-rank evolver, he had a chance to pass through the 2nd star cave. After a moment of reflection, Lin Yuan took a step forward. It's Lord Gold Pattern. We've seen Lord Gold Pattern. Please, Lord Gold Pattern, you first. The other evolvers waiting at the gate immediately said respectfully. For an average silver pattern evolver, there wasn't much difference between red patterns and gold patterns. In any case, both were out of their league, and one needed to pay respects upon their sight. Lin Yuan nodded slightly, took a step, and entered the transparent passage. Boom! Almost instantly, Lin Yuan crossed thousands of meters. In the 40,000-meter-long transparent passage, it took Lin Yuan less than 7 seconds to reach the end. Only after Lin Yuan reached the endpoint did the fearsome sound of the sonic boom arrive. In front of the passage, dozens of evolvers swallowed hard. This Lord Gold Pattern, his speed is too fast. Not bad. He seems faster than the other Gold Pattern lords. Chapter 116. It's terrifying, just how strong this Lord Gold Pattern is. Why has he only now come to challenge the second star cave? Keep your voice down. Lord Gold Pattern is not someone you can discuss. Dozens of evolvers lowered their voices. Until now, none of them were confident in passing through the second star cave, yet Lin Yuan did so with an effortlessly casual manner. Such a contrast made the dozens of evolvers have complex thoughts, a mix of awe and loss emerging simultaneously. There was a time when they too were peerless geniuses on their respective planets. The third star cave. This was a background of outer space. As soon as Lin Yuan appeared, he felt gravity disappear. He almost floated up. With a slight thought, Lin Yuan naturally descended. Outer space. Lin Yuan surveyed his surroundings. It was merely an environment simulating outer space. As for various types of radiation, there was none. So the challenge of this star cave is reaction time? Lin Yuan looked at the nearby stele, which listed the challenges of this star cave. Safely traverse the asteroid belt that stretches for thousands of miles ahead. There were countless asteroids drifting within the asteroid belt. Being touched by any asteroid meant elimination. Lin Yuan looked up toward the distant vast belt of asteroids, which resembled a dragon. This challenge was actually not difficult. The main thing was adapting to the environment of outer space. In other words, adapting to a zero-gravity environment. For third-rank and fourth-rank evolvers, most of their time was spent on planets. Suddenly coming to a zero-gravity environment, their strength was definitely impacted. In such a state, entering the asteroid belt with its myriad of asteroids, just a slightly slower reaction meant elimination. Please note, the elimination rule of the star cave isn't death by asteroid, but merely being touched by one. But, for me, it's oversimplified. A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. This level, for Lin Yuan who possessed the Taiji domain, was simply a walkover. Weightless environment. Within his domain, Lin Yuan was a god, and recreating gravity was just a matter of thought. Furthermore, with the mastery of the Taiji domain, Lin Yuan could foresee the countless asteroids within the belt and make preemptive decisions about whether to evade or choose another route. In fact, the challenge of the third star cave was easy to pass as long as one controlled a domain. There was virtually no difficulty. However, not all evolvers could master a domain. Fourth rank and fifth rank evolvers only potentially could attain a domain, but most evolvers of this level still lacked one. Half a day later, Lin Yuan smoothly passed through the third star cave. He then arrived at the fourth star cave. That last wave of asteroids, TSK. The scene just now flashed through Lin Yuan's mind. An endless number of asteroids came rolling in. Had it not been for Lin Yuan's mastery of the domain, even a gold pattern evolver would have had a substantial chance of being eliminated. However, Lin Yuan also understood that the wave of asteroids was completely random and even a rare occurrence. Encountering it was just bad luck. The fourth star cave. Lin Yuan exhaled lightly. The challenges of the seven-star cave had mostly passed. This place. Lin Yuan looked around and found himself inside a palace. Statues several meters high stood in neat rows, with evolvers seated below them, frowning in deep thought. Among these evolvers were notably the three red pattern evolvers. All evolvers who walked ahead of Lin Yuan were stuck in this star cave. The challenge of this star cave is... Lin Yuan looked at the nearby stone tablet. This star cave's challenge tests comprehension. Challengers may choose a statue. By fully understanding the secret technique contained in the statue, they can pass the challenge. Testing comprehension? Lin Yuan's gaze momentarily swept over each statue. He noticed that the statues were identical. The secret techniques they contained must also be the same. Seems like the difficulty is quite high. Lin Yuan glanced again at the 3 red pattern evolvers. The silver-haired woman. The man with a bloodline on his forehead. A nearly 3-meter-tall burly man. At this moment, these 3 people were sitting in front of the statue, deep in thought. Especially the burly man with the giant axe. His fist tightening and loosening intermittently. Lin Yuan had the feeling that, if not for caution, this burly man might have smashed the statue. 7-star cave world, mysterious space. 12 figures focused their gaze on the 4th star cave. The 7 tests of the 7-star cave differed in difficulty from person to person, but the tests of the 4th and 7th caves were the same. Perception. I wonder who was the first to pass the 4th star cave. It should be Yin Ling. She was the first to enter the 4th star cave, and her contemplation time was also the longest. Her own perception is not bad. Correct. Yin Ling should be the first among the 3 gold pattern talents to pass the test. I can't be sure who was the first, but the last one will definitely be brute force. The 12 figures chatted intermittently. Brute force, that was the nearly 3-meter-tall burly man. He followed the rule of power path, excelling in overpowering all laws with sheer force. However, matters that required a great deal of time for contemplation proved to be a headache for him. Therefore, all 12 figures unanimously believed that brute force should be the last among the 3 gold pattern talents to pass the test of the 4th star cave. Ha ha ha! Indeed. Actually, I think the Tri-Eye clan member has a good chance of being the first to pass the test. After all, their third eye allows them to see things ordinary beings cannot. The 12 figures conversed with each other. All their gaze was fixed on the 3 gold pattern talents. As for the others, even if they were gold pattern geniuses, taking 10 days or half a month to pass the test of this cave would be their limit. How could they possibly compare with the gold pattern talents? It must be this statue then. Lin Yuan walked to a secluded corner and chose a statue. To ensure fairness, every statue in the palace was indistinguishable, each containing the same secret technique. It's you! Beneath a nearby statue, a figure was sitting cross-legged, with green hair, radiating a certain ethereal aura. It was the green-haired gold pattern evolver Lin Yuan had encountered at the 100-mile race field in the 1st star cave. Just sit beneath the statue and gaze at it to begin the contemplation. Upon seeing Lin Yuan, the green-haired woman blinked and reminded him. Her impression of Lin Yuan was favorable. Back at the race field, Lin Yuan had not attacked her, indicating he was not too difficult to get along with. Okay. Lin Yuan nodded, sat beneath the statue he had chosen. Then he looked up and fixed his gaze on the statue in front of him. Moments later, Lin Yuan faintly felt the statue before him had changed. No longer just meters tall, but transformed into a towering mountain peak, reaching from earth to sky. Your perception is exceptional. Gazing at the unknown statue, you have comprehended the mountain's secret technique. Boom! Lin Yuan's thoughts returned, myriad flashes of spiritual light flooding into his mind, forming a special secret technique. This technique could stabilize his essence, spirit, and vitality, standing firm and unshaken in the world like a mountain. Could this technique take the form of some kind of foundation solidifying secret technique? Lin Yuan quickly pondered in his mind. Within the Cosmic Human Alliance, there existed a vast sea of evolution paths. Each evolution path had its own unique cultivation requirements, but without exception, the more solid one's foundation, the easier it was to cultivate an evolution path. The mountain's secret technique circulated within Lin Yuan's body. Faintly, Lin Yuan's blood settled, and his spirit concentrated, almost as if he were a small mountain sitting there. It seemed to sense the change in Lin Yuan. The statue in front of him suddenly began to glow. A beam of light descended from the sky, and then Lin Yuan disappeared. Lin Yuan's departure was not quiet. The other evolvers studying the statues immediately opened their eyes, staring in astonishment at the place where Lin Yuan had been sitting. Even the silver-haired woman, who was deeply engaged in contemplation from afar, now looked up. 7-star cave world, a certain level in mysterious space. The 12 conversing figures, whether the top 3 or the bottom 9, all stopped talking at the same time, shifting their eyes from the 4th-star cave, all now looking towards Lin Yuan, who had already entered the 5th-star cave. Chapter 117. Reap the benefits first. So fast. The 12 silhouettes were somewhat surprised. Although the mountain mystic skill is the introductory secret technique of the Red Kuan lineage, grasping it is not an easy task, especially for 3rd rank and 4th rank evolvers. But how long did Lin Yuan take? Half an hour? To be precise, it was 23 minutes. All of the 12 silhouettes were at least 6th rank fallen star warriors with powerful awareness. With a mere recollection, they confirmed the time Lin Yuan took from sitting down to being teleported to the 5th-star cave. Didn't expect this golden pattern challenger to possess such strong comprehension. Indeed, he performed ordinarily in the first 3-star caves, then burst forth in the 4th-star cave, leaving the 3 red pattern examiners behind. Kawu, how do you feel now? Are you regretting it a bit? One of the 9 silhouettes below teased. Kawu frowned. In the 2nd-star cave, he had already taken notice of Lin Yuan. The yin-yang attribute rules that Lin Yuan was pondering had areas of overlap with his own rules of light. A senior brother had suggested he take Lin Yuan as a disciple. But at that time, Kawu felt that taking a disciple wasn't a matter to be taken lightly, and planned to continue observing him to see his subsequent performance. Now, he had certainly seen Lin Yuan's performance. But, what a pity! Kawu sighed internally. 23 minutes to grasp the mountain mystic skill, without speaking of anything else. Just in terms of comprehension alone, he was definitely the strongest among all the challengers in the 7-star cave this time. He even surpassed the 3 red pattern examiners. But he knew this, and the other senior brothers knew as well. If it had been during the time in the 2nd-star cave, and Kawu had spoken up to take Lin Yuan, the other senior brothers wouldn't have contended with him since at that time, Lin Yuan's performance was standard, in line with a typical golden pattern challenger. There were over 100 golden pattern challengers available for the 12 of them to choose from, so if Kawu wanted an ordinary golden pattern challenger, none of his senior brothers would have objected. But now, Kawu glanced at the 3 figures above. He could feel that these 3 superiors beyond the 6th rank had taken an interest as well. With this, his hopes were completely dashed. The 3 figures above were also observing Lin Yuan. Compared to the 9 figures below, these 3 were much calmer. As beings who had transcended the 6th rank, the 3 figures were well aware that, compared to other aspects such as lineage, physique, strength, etc., comprehension was much harder to measure precisely. The simplest example being, some evolvers had a strong comprehension of wind system rules, yet in other rules their comprehension was quite ordinary. Golden pattern challenger Lin Yuan, from Kanglan Star, a middle-grade life planet in the Dawn Star system, born to a normal family, 20 years old. The 3 figures began to browse through the information on Lin Yuan. What they could access was mostly public information, and as for more in-depth data, their permissions were insufficient. Permission insufficient? Is he a citizen under the covert attention of the 3 goddesses? Looks like his background checks out. With the goddesses' attention, he definitely can't be an alien in disguise. It was no surprise to the 3 figures. At their level, they naturally knew that within the Cosmic Alliance, the 3 goddesses also evaluated every citizen. If a citizen exhibited something special, he would catch the eyes of the 3 goddesses. Though they wouldn't directly help, they would take measures to block his information. Of course, blocking information could attract the attention of those with intentions. For instance, if everyone else's information isn't blocked, only yours is, Wouldn't it be a giveaway? But one must know, the standards that the three goddesses use to judge special talent are not limited to the realm of evolution but also include the arts, science, gastronomy, and more. Additionally, the information blocking isn't permanent. For instance, if after a while the goddesses no longer consider you a special talent, they would also lift the block. Probabilistically, there will be 1 or 2 citizens on every planet whose information is blocked by the three goddesses. This prevents the chance of alien strong ones specifically targeting citizens with blocked information for assassination. After all, you don't know exactly what kind of person you're targeting. What if, after the aliens have spent untold resources and sacrificed many important pieces, they ultimately kill an expert in the culinary arts? Even looking at only the public information, this golden pattern challenger Lin Yuan must have had some adventure. After all, a normal family can't afford to support a 3rd-4th rank evolver's cultivation. Regardless of whether or not he has had any adventures, just the fact that he comprehended the mountain mystic skill in 23 minutes indicates an exceptionally high level of comprehension. Now let's see his performance in the 7th star cave. The three figures conversed with one another. So-called adventures were nothing out of the ordinary for them, as every challenger who entered the 7-star cave world, even the lowest ranked with a silver pattern, had experienced adventures. Indeed, the 4th star cave tested comprehension, which is a preliminary direction, but it is the 7th star cave's trials that will truly determine suitability for our Red Kuan lineage. The three figures looked at Lin Yuan with satisfaction. They had even decided that even if Lin Yuan's comprehension was unsuitable for pondering the many secret techniques of the Red Kuan lineage, they would personally intervene to take him on. After all, Lin Yuan's feat of grasping the mountain mystic skill in 23 minutes was too terrifying. If not fit for the Red Kuan lineage, then they would procure the cultivation secret techniques from other forces one by one to test him. Such a talent must not be let go. The 4th star cave. All the evolvers who were pondering the statues suddenly exploded with chatter. When Lin Yuan left, the statue illuminated, and a beam of light appeared. This was clearly not the usual log-off process. Chapter 118. And the characteristics of those who passed the test. Less than half an hour had passed, and the test had been accomplished. Many examiners only felt that they had lived in vain. Teacher once said that my aptitude is the strongest he has ever seen, but it is precisely because of this that I need to join a more powerful force. In the distance, the silver-haired girl was thinking silently to herself. Joining a powerful force is not only to gain a higher platform, but also to meet other geniuses. Only then can you avoid becoming arrogant due to talent, and continue to move forward. The silver-haired girl took a deep breath. At this moment, she profoundly realized that her teacher was right. Seeing Lin Yuan pass the 4th star cave test in much less time than she had, the silver-haired girl immediately felt motivated. I am close too. Just a bit more. The silver-haired girl once again looked at the statue in front of her, immersing herself in deep contemplation. Really want to smash this statue with an axe? A nearly 3-meter-tall brute was somewhat anxious. Originally he was contemplating somewhat restlessly, but seeing someone pass the test made him even more so, especially since the person who passed wasn't one of the other 2 red pattern examiners, but a gold pattern he hadn't taken seriously. My 3-eyed clan is naturally adept at comprehension, yet I didn't expect to be overtaken. The man with a blood-colored fine line on his forehead thought to himself. But I'm also close. The bloodline man looked up at the statue, the bloodline on his forehead faintly spreading open. The 5th star cave. Lin Yuan's figure appeared here. I was actually teleported directly to the 5th star cave. Lin Yuan felt a bit regretful in his heart. Originally, after comprehending the mountain mystic skill, he didn't plan to rush off, but instead wanted to stay in the 4th star cave and see what else he could comprehend from the other statues. Although all statues were identical, and in the interest of fairness, supposedly contained the same secret techniques, what if they didn't? The mountain mystic skill is truly extraordinary. After contemplating for a moment, Lin Yuan began to keenly sense the changes within his body. When operating the mountain mystic skill, his blood and chi solidified, and his entire being seemed like an immovable mountain. Lin Yuan could feel his physique and flesh body slowly improving. Although the extent was almost imperceptible, it was indeed advancing. After a while, Lin Yuan began to look around. The fifth star cave. According to the information provided by Fang Qing, the first 3 star caves tested the physical body. Whether it was the gravity of the first star cave, the speed of the second star cave, or the reaction time of the third star cave and so on, all were aimed at the physical body, whereas the 4th star cave tested comprehension. Following the 4th star cave, the 5th and 6th star caves tested the soul. Cave test. Ascend to the mountaintop along the mountain path to pass. Hint. There is no danger to life in this cave test. Reach the mountaintop. Lin Yuan looked up and saw a mountain standing not far away. The mountain was roughly 100 meters tall, and at its base was a narrow mountain path entrance. Lin Yuan's expression became slightly solemn. Even without thinking, he knew the ascent would not be so simple. No danger to life. Lin Yuan took another glance at the hint on the stone tablet. The rules of the 7-star cave test had 2 premises for elimination. One was spending over a month in the world of a particular star cave. The second was death. First, try climbing the mountain. Lin Yuan approached the base of the mountain, paused for a moment, and stepped his right foot onto the path. Hum! An invisible force suddenly descended. Inside the Naiwen Palace at his forehead, the black and white Tai Chi force in the form of a star system suddenly began to vibrate. This suddenly descending force, ignoring Lin Yuan's many defenses, directly attacked the soul. Boom, boom, boom. The black and white Tai Chi grinding disc slowly began to spin. Soon it ground the intangible force to nothing. Is this a soul attack? Lin Yuan suddenly understood the content of the test of this star cave. It was soul defense. Each step would bring about a soul attack. If one withstood it, they could step onto the next stair. If they could not withstand it, they would fall into a brief unconsciousness and tumble down from the stairs. Lin Yuan finally understood why the star cave was said to hold no risk to life. Given the strength of a 3rd or 4th rank evolver's physical body, even tumbling down from the mountaintop, a 100-meter fall wouldn't cause any injury. Of course, during the climb, all soul defense weapons are unusable. Lin Yuan's soul-suppressing bell is also included in this list. Just as Lin Yuan was deep in thought, another wave of soul attacks descended. Hum, hum, hum. Inside the Naiwen Palace at the center of his brows, the black and white Tai Chi grinding disc slowly turned. Before long, it crushed the soul attack to smithereens. Suddenly, your innate understanding is defying the heavens. Enduring soul attacks, you are perfecting your own soul defense. In a trance, Lin Yuan sensed that inside the Naiwen Palace at the center of his brows, the black and white Tai Chi star system seemed to become a bit more stable. Is there also this benefit? A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. An innate understanding that defied the heavens not only allowed Lin Yuan to comprehend martial techniques, evolution paths, various secret techniques, and even rules far beyond other evolvers, but it also improved Lin Yuan's adaptability. This adaptability had a wide range. For example, in the Dragon Tiger world, when Lin Yuan's consciousness descended upon an infant, on the brink of death from freezing and starvation, he comprehended a method to resist the cold and hunger. Now, as Lin Yuan endured soul attacks, the black and white Tai Chi star system in the Naiwen Palace of his brows was shaken. Thus, he comprehended a method to stabilize the soul. Of course, this kind of adaptability has its limits. At the end in the Divine Arms world, when Lin Yuan entered the spatial rift, he was instantly turned to dust, with no time to grasp any understanding. But the soul attack at the first step clearly couldn't crush Lin Yuan's soul defense rapidly. Good, good, good. Joy filled Lin Yuan's heart. He naturally knew the importance of the soul. The stronger the soul's defense, the safer he was. Boom. Yet another soul attack descended. And this time, inside the Naiwen Palace at the center of his brows, the black and white Tai Chi star system was much more stable, merely accelerating its spin to erase the soul attack. Your innate understanding is defying the heavens. Enduring soul attacks, you are perfecting your own soul defense. Instantly, the black and white Tai Chi star system became even more stable. Witnessing this scene, Lin Yuan simply decided to stay on the first step and not move, allowing wave after wave of soul attacks to fall, then stimulating the black and white Tai Chi star system inside the Naiwan palace of his brows to slowly transform. 10 minutes later, the soul attack from the first step had already lost the ability to shake the black and white Tai Chi star system inside the Naiwan palace of his brows. The descending force of the invisible, unable to even approach the outermost edge, dissipated on its own. Only then did Lin Yuan somewhat reluctantly step onto the second step. The soul attack from the second step was somewhat stronger than the first, but to Lin Yuan, it wasn't much of a challenge. Unless it could crush him rapidly, any damage he suffered could only serve to make him stronger. By the time Lin Yuan reached the sixth step, whoosh, a figure once again appeared inside the fifth star cave. It was that red pattern examiner, the silver-haired woman, Yin Ling. The fifth star cave. The silver-haired woman caught sight of Lin Yuan climbing the steps at first glance. At the same time, she also understood the content of the trial. So much time has passed and he's only climbed that many steps. The test must be very difficult. Yin Ling now regarded Lin Yuan as an opponent from the red pattern challenge. Although in the 7-star cave trial everyone was not in competition, and as long as one passed through the 7 caves, they could join the Red Kuan lineage. There was no limit on the number. But seeing Lin Yuan's performance in the 4th star cave, Yin Ling subconsciously compared herself to him. I'll try as well. Yin Ling walked to the foot of the mountain and without any hesitation, stepped onto the first step. Not difficult. The descending soul attack merely shook Yin Ling's outer soul a bit before being blocked. The second step, the third step, the fourth step, the fifth step. Yin Ling continued her ascent towards the summit. Before she knew it, Yin Ling had already climbed the 40th layer of steps. The mountain was 100 meters high, with roughly 300 steps. At this point, the soul attack that descended was serious enough for Yin Ling to treat with caution. Her gaze instinctively glanced below, seeing Lin Yuan still dawdling on the 7th step. This guy! A strange expression crossed Yin Ling's face. Chapter 119, Pagoda of the Mind. Yin Ling painstakingly climbed up step by step. She naturally knew that the first 20 steps posed no difficulty for 3rd rank and 4th rank evolvers. They could basically withstand it. After all, Lin Yuan was a gold pattern evolver. If he had begun to comprehend the rules, how could he possibly linger on the first 20 steps for such an extended time? Could there be some sort of mystery? A thought flickered through Yin Ling's mind. She felt that Lin Yuan's progress to this point definitely wasn't due to foolishness. Every move he made was profound. With this thought, Yin Ling also stopped moving on the 40th step. Boom, boom, boom. Wave after wave of soul attacks descended. Even though Yin Ling could completely withstand soul attacks of this level, she ultimately found it was a total waste of time. What kind of damned mystery is this? Yin Ling's face soured, feeling her actions were foolish. This lengthy halt, while not weakening her strength, was definitely of no benefit whatsoever. With this realization, Yin Ling once again began her climb toward the summit. Soul defense has increased by 20%. The stability of the black and white Taiji star system within the Naiwan Palace has fortified by 1.5%. At the 7th step, Lin Yuan felt quite pleased. These soul attacks were, for him, far more efficient than practicing in solitude. Whether or not I can join the Red Kuan lineage, it's best to take advantage of the situation first. Seeing that the soul attacks at the 7th step posed no threat to him, Lin Yuan stepped onto the 8th step. His stay in the 5th star cave wouldn't affect his ultimate passage through the 7-star cave challenge, so long as the time spent in each star cave didn't exceed a month. In the 7-star cave world, within a layer of the mysterious space, Lin Yuan's actions also caught the attention of 12 silhouettes. What exactly is Lin Yuan doing? Why isn't he hurrying to the 7th star cave to pass the final test instead of wasting time in the 5th star cave? Could it be that his soul is his weak point and he is struggling with those soul attacks, which is why he is dawdling? The 9 silhouettes below whispered among themselves and speculated. The trial of the 7-star cave, set by the majestic Chikuan Star Lord, was something not even the 12 disciples could interrupt. They could only select disciples based on the performance in each test. If Lin Yuan's performance wasn't intentional, then it meant he was not adept at resisting soul attacks. And the intensity of the soul attacks in the 5th star cave was tailored according to the foundational strength tier of each challenger. For instance, if you were a 3rd-rank evolver, you would face soul attacks of 3rd-rank intensity, at most reaching the peak of 3rd rank. Lin Yuan, being a 4th-rank Section 10 evolver, was subject to soul attacks of at least 4th rank, so if he wasn't skilled in soul defense, it wouldn't be surprising for him to find such attacks strenuous. Not skilled in soul defense? The 9 silhouettes looked at each other incredulously. The issue is not major. The 3 silhouettes above were unconcerned. Soul defense could be improved later. If Lin Yuan was deficient in that area, they could simply bestow a few soul defense treasures upon him later. At this pace, can he truly get through the 5th star cave within a month? The silhouette on the left spoke, a hint of worry in his voice. He was called Gu Zhe, the 3rd disciple of the Chikuan Star Lord, and also a being beyond 6th rank. Among the 3, Gu Zhe was most optimistic about Lin Yuan. Take your time, Gu Zhe thought to himself. Even if Lin Yuan didn't pass the 7-star caves, he had the ability to bring him into the Red Kuan lineage. However, in that case, Lin Yuan's status would certainly not be as high as other challengers who had passed all 7-star caves. Moreover, without testing his specific talents in the 7th-star cave, Gu Zhe didn't know how to formulate a subsequent cultivation plan for Lin Yuan. The 7-star cave trial set by the Chikuan Star Lord wasn't always open. The implication was that activating the trial came at a certain cost. The effectiveness of the trials within the 7-star cave was also extremely precise. The 7 differing trials essentially allowed for an assessment of each challenger's potential. On the mountain steps, Lin Yuan took a step forward and paused with each step. This incessant soul attack isn't something one comes across easily, Lin Yuan thought to himself. Soul attacks are a very special method of assault as they severely drain the soul power of the attacker. And the recovery isn't as quick as that of vital energy or stamina. Generally speaking, a soul-type evolver who unleashes 10 or 20 full-power soul attacks would likely be drained and need to rest for some time. Thus, Lin Yuan could hardly find a soul-type evolver who would be able to continually assail him. As for higher-tier soul-type evolvers, Lin Yuan was somewhat apprehensive, fearing that if one suddenly struck with full force, wouldn't his life be in danger? However, the pace of improvement is noticeably slowing down. Lin Yuan clearly perceived a decline in the enhancement of his soul strength. If the enhancement brought by the initial step was 10, it was now 8 or even 5. Mainly because the soul attacks now have an increasingly weaker effect on me. Lin Yuan thought. Only when he felt threatened could he stimulate his against heaven's understanding to perfect his current physical and soul condition so as to better cope with the impending crisis. But now, Lin Yuan barely felt threatened. It was just like in the 1st-star cave, walking along a 100-mile black track. Even without relying on other means such as the Taiji field and so forth, Lin Yuan could easily complete the track simply with his physical body. Therefore, from beginning to end, the against heaven's understanding hadn't devised a way to enhance his physical capabilities. Chapter 120. There's still plenty of time, Lin Yuan said. He stopped on the 20th step. By now, he had completed nearly 1/10 of his journey to the peak. Lin Yuan looked up towards the summit and noticed that the silver-haired woman had reached the very top few steps. However, it was clear that her complexion had turned somewhat pale. The final few steps seemed to cause her considerable discomfort. It's a pity I didn't go all out to exert my strength, and just resisting spiritual attacks doesn't really reveal much. Lin Yuan felt a slight regret. He had hoped to continue gleaning insights from her, as realizations about space are quite rare. But to achieve any understanding, she would need to make a move. Like when the silver-haired woman employed the spatial step, Lin Yuan saw it and started to gain insights into that aspect. If it were just about watching the person, then Lin Yuan's gains could be in other areas, like how to turn his hair silver, or how to transform into the opposite sex. Utterly meaningless epiphanies. Friend, what are you looking at? Just as Lin Yuan was contemplating, a voice came from beside him. She was also a golden pattern challenger, a prodigy born from 1,000 life planets. But at the moment, this golden pattern challenger was somewhat out of breath. Climbing 20 consecutive steps in a short time was equivalent to withstanding 20 spiritual attacks, each stronger than the last. The experience was quite unpleasant. Nothing much. I'm watching that red pattern. Looks like she's about to pass the 7-star cave challenge. Lin Yuan found a casual excuse. Yin Ling, huh? I know her. Her mentor is the renowned 6th-rank Fallen Star Warrior. This time, she's participating in the 7-star cave challenge, hoping to become a disciple of those 3, said the golden pattern evolver with a grin. If you stay on a particular step, you will continue to face the soul attacks of that step. But the time interval is at least 1 to 2 minutes, and the intensity is consistent, so as long as you survive the first wave, there isn't much problem afterward. Those 3. Lin Yuan knew of whom she spoke. They were the 3 strongest disciples of the Chikuan Star Lord. Each was a being exceeding 6th rank. It seems that the Chikuan Star Lord is quite adept at teaching disciples. Lin Yuan remarked. Each being that surpassed 6th rank needed to carve out their own path. External help wasn't much use. The Chikuan Star Lord being able to mentor 3 disciples of such caliber showed he was quite skilled in this area. That's indeed true. Not just that. The Star Lord's strength is commanding. In the war against the insect race, the Star Lord manifested his true body and downed an insect race hive in one gulp. The golden pattern evolver spoke with obvious admiration for the Chikuan Star Lord. He knew very well of the Chikuan Star Lord's many feats of valor. An insect race hive? Lin Yuan's expression grew slightly solemn. Each insect race hive was under the watch of an insect queen. And a queen capable of forging her own hive would surpass the 6th rank according to the strength classification of the human race. An insect race hive could continuously spawn insect race warriors. 1st rank, 2nd layer, 3rd rank, 4th rank, 5th rank, and even 6th rank could be produced in large quantities. For other races, reaching 5th or 6th rank was a matter of countless years, with perhaps one emerging from millions. But for the insect race, as long as there was sufficient energy, the queens could create without limit. A 6th rank insect race warrior might not match a human race 6th rank evolver in direct combat power, but the sheer numbers are overwhelming. 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000 6th rank insect race warriors. Can they not defeat a single 6th rank evolver? This is the terror of the insect race with their sea of insects tactics. They stand nearly at the peak of the cosmic starry sky. The humans' war with the insect race didn't start off very smoothly, but luckily humanity had an edge in peak combat power over the insect race. That's how the current situation was formed. The Chikuan Star Lord swallowing an insect race hive on the battlefield was a tremendous achievement, indirectly saving the lives of countless human race evolvers. Of course, as the source of the insect race, the hives would be protected to the highest degree and were not an easy target. Many evolvers exceeding 6th rank often disappeared under the overwhelming tide of insect race warriors before even finding the hive. And the hives weren't defenseless. They had their own means of survival. The golden pattern evolver chatted with Lin Yuan for a while. Then she went offline to rest. Lin Yuan continued to stay on this step for a little while. After a while, he climbed a few more steps. Then he also disconnected from the virtual world and returned to reality. Somewhat tired, Lin Yuan rubbed his brow. In fact, once reaching the level of a 4th rank evolver, the physical body hardly felt any fatigue. With the circulation of qi and blood, inhaling the pervasive power of Tai Yin and Tai Yang between heaven and earth, they resembled a weakened version of a perpetual motion machine. But while the body wasn't tired, the mind certainly was. Especially when subject to spiritual attacks, even with against heaven's understanding slowly bolstering the soul's defenses, Prolonged strain still led to exhaustion. Time to sleep. Lin Yuan closed his eyes. He had not slept for a long time. Now was the perfect time to have a good sleep. One day later, Lin Yuan opened his eyes. He felt completely refreshed, with all fatigue swept away. Because of your against heaven's understanding, having suffered a great amount of soul attacks, you have comprehended the soul defense secret technique Mind Palace. Within the Naiwan Palace in the center of his forehead, a great amount of soul power began to surge, and the black and white Yin-Yang Taiji star system also started to vibrate. Ultimately, a translucent five-colored pagoda took shape, enveloping the entire Naiwan Palace within. Soul Defense Secret Technique. Lin Yuan's heart was filled with joy. He could feel that, outside the Naiwan Palace, the invisible pagoda constructed from his own soul power had defensive capabilities that even surpassed the soul-suppressing bell. What was this concept? The soul-suppressing bell is a weapon for soul defense, capable of guarding the soul. And now Lin Yuan, without relying on the soul-suppressing bell, could achieve the same thing, or even surpass it. From now on, even if I shuttle through worlds, I probably don't have to worry about soul defense. Lin Yuan was in a good mood. When shuttling through the door to the myriad realms, unless his physical body passed through, Lin Yuan couldn't bring the soul-suppressing bell with him when only his consciousness descended. But now, with the soul defense secret technique, even without the aid of the soul-suppressing bell, Lin Yuan had enough confidence in his soul defense. Keep going, keep going. Lin Yuan was full of motivation and reconnected to the virtual world, entering the 7-star cave world again. Whoosh! 5th star cave. Midway up the mountain, Lin Yuan's figure suddenly appeared. Lin Yuan's brow furrowed slightly. The moment he appeared, the soul attack belonging to this level of the stairways descended upon him. However, this soul attack hadn't even reached the Naiwan Palace before it was blocked by the invisible pagoda. Mind Palace. Lin Yuan couldn't help but marvel. The soul attack from this level of stairways was capable of shaking the outer defenses of Lin Yuan's soul. But now, faced with this soul defense secret technique, it couldn't shake him, let alone affect him. Disperse. With just a thought from Lin Yuan, the invisible Mind Palace began to dissipate. Since it was a soul defense secret technique, it was naturally controllable. To continue benefiting from the soul attacks of the Star Cave, Lin Yuan would certainly not allow the Mind Palace to block his path. Boom, boom, boom. Hello everyone, this is Shadow. Due to copyright restrictions on YouTube, I can't publish many of the audiobooks you love. That's why I've created a special paid service where you can enjoy over 300 high-quality audiobooks from platforms like Webnovel, Pocket FM, Audible, Wuxia, and more. Each novel comes as a one-time purchase, no subscriptions, no hidden fees. After payment, you'll receive full access via Telegram, along with all future updates for that novel. You'll find a wide selection of your favorite genres and titles, always in premium audio quality. Check the full list of available novels in the description. DM me now to get your favorite stories in audiobook form and start listening today.